I remember Eden Park. It was Eden to me by name and feeling. The world revolved around this place. It was the center of my universe. Just like 1,000 other neighborhoods in this country. We were rich and poor at the same time. We dreamed, we hoped. Then someone ate the apple and it slowly but surely became this. Like most places that have fallen from grace, it took a while. And either no one noticed, they didn't think they could stop it, or heaven forbid, they didn't care. But I remember when neighbors looked after each other, especially the children. I remember when excellence was expected, demanded, and achieved. I remember when respect was given to the young by the old, and the old by the young. I remember eagerly walking to school, filled with a sense of self and a belief that today would be better than yesterday. I remember teachers who would not allow us to get away with anything less than our best. I remember hope and dreams and love. I remember heads held high, a proud moment in every step. We were a neighborhood. We were in this together. I remember basketball at the Breck Center, softball behind the school, the March of Dimes walk, riding bicycles, all-day football games, and cherished memories best kept to myself. I remember Big Ann's Shoe Shine, Mr. Peter's barbershop, and Buddy Dunn's ice cream stand. Oh, the ice cream stand. I became who I am because of Eden Park. My faith, my work ethic, and unwavering determination, the ability to see where I was going and how to get there. I had hope for me, for my community, as we all do, for all of our communities. I remember the park as it was, not as it is, because it isn't, not anymore. I remember, but sometimes I'd like to forget. But I shouldn't. I won't. I can't. This is my neighborhood, the neighborhood of my childhood. But this is not just a story about my neighborhood. It's a story of 1,000 neighborhoods across this city, this country, even across this state. It's a story of abandonment, of absentee landlords, of failed policies, such as there are policies. It's the story where many of the people who live in the communities themselves don't believe that they can make it any better. By one estimate, since 1964, $156 trillion and 129 federal agencies have tried to change this story. That's a lot of money, a lot of people, a lot of time. That's a lot of zeros. And the reality is many of us believe that that's been the return on our investment, a lot of zeros. But if you haven't quite reached even that level of cynicism, I think you would agree with me that the return on investment hasn't quite been what we'd hope it would be in terms of change in inner city communities. And the question becomes why? Well, I believe it is because we have ignored one fundamental truth, and it is that transformation and hope cannot be imported. Hope and transformation must come from the inside. Allow me to say that again. Transformation and hope must emerge from the inside. Real change can only emanate from the people and the forces at work within the neighborhood. This is a core belief of Metro-Morphosis. Metro-Morphosis is a movement designed to ignite hope and transformation in inner city neighborhoods, neighborhoods like mine. It is by, for, and with the people. Hope generated within the people becomes the catalyst for change. Hope that things can be better, even when on their face they appear hopeless. Now, Metro-Morphosis is about bringing about this change. Let me ask you to think about your own experiences as a parent or a grandparent or aunt or uncle or older sibling, and to think about the hope that you had for the children in your life and in your care. I believe that it was that they would have a good life, perhaps a life even better than yours. This universal hope that every parent or caregiver has for children, it transcends geography. It transcends socioeconomic status. It transcends race and gender, and that hope is the spark in this story. And Metro-Morphosis is about pouring fuel on that spark. In my neighborhood, Eden Park, where I grew up, a 20 by 18 block area, there are at least 25 churches. Why so many, you ask? Because churches are places of hope and transformation. If you talk to someone in the neighborhood I grew up in and ask them, where do you put on your best clothes and go to be with people that you really like and become inspired? And the answer that many will give you is the name of their church. Metro-Morphosis taps into this deep and untapped resource that sits in pews and seats every weekend in their houses of worship and mobilizes them to identify and take on challenges in partnership with their neighbors. The critical ingredient is that they, and not some agency or someone from the outside, owns the change. Let me give you an example. There's one group in our congregation who has become focused on the whole issue of blight reduction. They have gone into the neighborhood and identified neighbors block by block by block by block and begun to lay out their strategies to ameliorate the horrific condition that exists. Imagine that multiplied by a few thousand times. Congregations unleashed is a critical ingredient. What does it mean to cultivate leaders? Believe it or not, in every inner city neighborhood, there are people who have the capacity to influence and lead. People like Malcolm. I met Malcolm probably 5 years ago, and he was not unlike many young men in Eden Park. Dreadlocks to his shoulders, tattoos that were very visible. Can we agree that Malcolm would probably not get an invitation to leadership, fill in the blank? But Malcolm has it. Malcolm has the ability to command presence. Malcolm has the ability to make a difference and lead others. At Metro-Morphosis, our goal is to engage an indigenous cohort of 12 Malcolms and engage them in a rigorous curriculum built upon the principles of adaptive and advanced leadership, the very same principles that are taught in some of the best leadership courses and institutions in this country. And so, congregations unleashed, leaders who are cultivated from within the neighborhoods. It's a great start. But there's one piece that's still missing, and it is connecting with resources that are external to the neighborhood. This is the place where those who are on the outside have the opportunity to affect change on the inside. In Metro-Morphosis, ladies and gentlemen, we call together and invite together a diverse group of folks who have one thing in common. They are committed to change. And we invite them to join together and to cluster together with others who have similar passions. We invite and call together people from business and industry, from nonprofits and even government agencies to come and provide the air cover to the infantry work of the congregations and groups on the ground. There's one group here in Baton Rouge that has gathered together that's concerned with the whole issue of access to healthy foods. For you see, in Eden Park, a fresh piece of fruit or a fresh vegetable is not within walking distance or even a short bus ride. But this group has come together and connected with a group on the ground that was interested in community gardening. And what has emerged out of that is a garden at the Capitol Middle School that has invigorated this wonderful connection between community and kids, between a larger community and a smaller community. And for the first time, many kids are learning that potatoes come from places other than drive-through windows. They're beginning to understand what food tastes like that hasn't been dropped in a vat of grease. And a wonderful thing is beginning to emerge in the community. Ladies and gentlemen, I would submit to you that our cities are just like our bodies. It's impossible to be healthy if your core is diseased. And whether you've noted or not, there's a cancer eating away at the inner cities in all of our cities. But this core can be transformed. This core can be healed. This story can be changed. Metro-Morphosis can change the story by working first and foremost from within, by unleashing the untapped potential of inner city congregations, by cultivating indigenous leaders who have a heart for their home, and by connecting with external resources from those who are genuinely committed to bringing change in their community. We can create a Metro-Morphosis, and we can do it for a hell of a lot less than $156 trillion. God bless you.